Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we journey together into the timeless heart of Australia's ancient land, a place where stories flow like rivers, stones hold secrets of the past, and the Dreamtime's gentle whispers guide us all. This is a story not just of history but of connection, to the earth beneath our feet, to the sky above, and to the quiet strength inside ourselves. So find a comfortable place, take a slow, deep breath, and let the soft rhythm of the story carry you gently into a peaceful night's rest. Let us begin. The morning sun rose slowly over the vast red earth of ancient Australia. Its first gentle rays spilled like liquid gold across the dusty plains, touching the tops of tall eucalyptus trees and setting the rocks aglow with a soft, warm light. The air was cool and fresh, carrying with it the sweet scent of wildflowers and dry leaves, mingled with the faint smoky smell of last night's fire. Jarran lay beneath the protective shade of a towering gum tree, its rough bark cool against his back. He blinked sleepily as the morning chorus of birds filled the sky with song. The kookaburras laughed softly in the distance, and the delicate calls of parrots flitted through the air like bright feathers in flight. But beneath all these sounds was another, a steady rhythmic thumping. It was soft at first, then louder, like a heartbeat pulsing through the land itself. Jarran opened his eyes wide and sat up, listening carefully. "There it is again," he whispered to himself. The sound was familiar. The deep, measured thump of a kangaroo's feet moving gently across the earth. It was a sound that spoke of the rhythm of the land, slow, steady, patient, a song that had been sung since time began. Jarran's grandmother, Nara, was already awake. She sat nearby by the fire pit, her hands moving with quiet grace as she arranged small stones in a circle, preparing for the day's ceremony. Her skin was weathered by many years under the sun, and her eyes shone with the calm wisdom of someone who had listened closely to the land and its stories for decades. She looked up as Jarran approached, a gentle smile curving her lips. "Good morning, Jarran," she said softly. "Did you hear the song of the kangaroo?" Jarran nodded. "Yes, grandmother. It's strong like a heartbeat." Nara's smile deepened. "The kangaroo is one of our oldest messengers. It carries stories from the Dreamtime, the time before time, when our ancestors shaped the world." Jarran's eyes sparkled with curiosity. He had heard stories of the Dreamtime since he was very small. Tales that told how the earth, sky, and all living things were created by great ancestral beings. But every time he listened, the stories seemed new, as if the land itself was whispering secrets only he could understand. "Tell me the story again," Jarran asked, settling beside her. Nara's voice was calm and steady as she began. "In the beginning, before the sun rose and before the rivers flowed, the world was quiet and empty. Then came the great ancestors, powerful spirits who walked the land and sang the songs that shaped the earth. The rainbow serpent slithered through valleys, carving rivers with its body. The kangaroo, with its strong legs, bounded across the plains, creating hills and valleys with each leap. And the emu danced under the stars, painting the sky with their feathers." Jarran closed his eyes, imagining the ancestors moving through the dark earth, their songs waking the world. He pictured the kangaroo, strong and graceful, pounding the ground in a rhythm that echoed in his chest. "The kangaroo's song," Nara continued, "reminds us of strength, of moving forward with balance and patience. It teaches us to respect the land, to listen carefully, and to follow the rhythms of nature." Jarran's heart filled with warmth as he felt the truth of her words. Around him, the forest was alive with sounds, the rustle of leaves, the distant calls of animals, the whisper of the wind. Nara stood and took Jarran's hand gently. "Come," she said. "Today you will walk with me to a special place. There you will learn to listen to the land's song with all your senses." Together they moved through the bush, their steps soft on the red earth. The sun climbed higher, casting dancing shadows through the gum leaves. Birds flitted overhead, and the distant shimmer of a creek caught the sunlight like scattered diamonds. As they walked, Nara told Jarran about the importance of the land, how every tree, every rock, and every animal was connected. She spoke of the seasons, and how the people knew when to plant and gather by watching the stars and the behavior of animals. Everything has its time, she said. Like the tide that comes and goes, like the kangaroo's hop that carries it forward. We must move with the land, not against it. Jarran listened closely, feeling the pulse of the earth beneath his feet. Each step seemed to echo the steady beat of the kangaroo's feet, the song of the land guiding him gently forward. After some time, they reached a clearing where a large rock stood, its surface smooth and worn by centuries of rain and sun. Nara knelt beside it and began to draw patterns in the dust, lines and shapes that told a story. "This rock," she said, "is a place of power. Our ancestors carved it to honor the kangaroo and its song. When you feel lost or unsure, come here and remember the rhythm of the land. Let it guide you." Jarran traced the lines with his fingers, feeling the cool stone beneath his touch. He imagined the ancestors who had come before him, how they had walked these paths and listened to the same songs. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, painting the sky with shades of orange and purple, Nara and Jarran began their walk back to the village. The thumping sound of kangaroo feet rose again nearby, steady and calm. That night, under a sky filled with stars, Jarran lay wrapped in a woven blanket. The stories, the sounds, and the land itself surrounded him like a lullaby. He felt his breathing slow, his body relax, and his mind grow still. The song of the kangaroo carried him gently into dreams, dreams of a land alive with stories, where every heartbeat was part of the great, eternal Dreamtime. The first light of dawn slipped softly over the horizon, painting the sky in gentle shades of pink and gold. The air was still cool and fresh, carrying the faint scent of damp earth and blooming wattle flowers. In the distance, the song of a magpie echoed through the trees, a clear ringing call that stirred the waking bush. Jarran stretched beneath the wide canopy of his village's gathering place, feeling the cool morning air brush against his skin. Beside him, the steady thumping of kangaroo feet echoed faintly, an ancient rhythm, a heartbeat of the land that never ceased. Today Nara had promised to take him to a sacred place, the great waterholes, a network of deep, hidden pools that nourished the earth and all who lived upon it. Jarran rose quietly, his curiosity stirring like the gentle breeze. He loved these moments with his grandmother, when the stories of the Dreamtime came alive through their shared journey across the land. They walked side by side along the narrow paths worn smooth by generations of footsteps. The red earth crunched softly beneath their feet as they moved deeper into the heart of the bush, where the trees grew taller and the shadows stretched longer. Nara's voice was steady and calm as she spoke. "The waterholes are the lifeblood of our land. They hold the stories of the ancestors and the spirit of the Dreamtime. Without water, life cannot continue, this we know well." Jarran nodded thoughtfully. Water was a treasure here, especially during the dry seasons when the rivers dwindled to thin ribbons and the sun baked the earth hard and cracked. After a while, the path opened into a hidden valley. There, nestled between ancient rocks and sheltered by a grove of river gums, lay the great waterholes, deep pools of clear, cool water that shimmered like liquid glass beneath the morning sun. Jarran stepped closer, mesmerized by the stillness of the water. It was so calm it seemed like a mirror, reflecting the sky and the branches overhead with perfect clarity. Nara knelt at the edge and dipped her hands into the water, letting the coolness wash over her fingers. She turned to Jarran and said softly, "The waterholes are sacred. They are gifts from the ancestors, places where the spirit of the land is strongest. We come here to give thanks and to listen." Jarran knelt beside her, dipping his own hands into the water. The coolness spread like a gentle wave through his body, calming his restless thoughts. As they sat together, Nara began to tell the story of the waterholes. "Long ago," she said, "before the rivers flowed and the rain fell regularly, the land was dry and cracked. The ancestors, the great spirits of the Dreamtime, saw the suffering of the earth and decided to bring water to their children. The rainbow serpent rose from beneath the soil, carving deep channels and creating pools where water could collect. These water holes became sacred places, life-giving wells hidden in the heart of the land. Jarran closed his eyes and imagined the great serpent winding its way through the earth, its body glowing like a river of light beneath the surface. He pictured how the water holes had formed, shimmering like jewels in the dusty bush, bringing relief and hope to all who found them. Nara continued, "The water holes are not only places of life but also of ceremony and connection. When the seasons change, we gather here to honor the ancestors, to sing their songs, and to share stories that have been passed down through countless generations." As she spoke, Jarran noticed the subtle signs of life around the water holes: tiny fish darting beneath the surface, dragonflies skimming across the water, and a family of ducks quietly paddling near the reeds. "It is a place of balance," Nara said. "The water sustains the animals, the plants, and the people. And in return we care for the water holes, protecting them from harm and remembering their stories." Jarran looked around at the peaceful scene, feeling a deep sense of calm settle over him. He felt the pulse of the land beneath his feet and the cool water against his skin, a reminder that everything was connected in a great web of life. After some time, Nara stood and beckoned him to follow. They walked to a nearby rock ledge where ancient symbols were carved, patterns of circles and lines that told the story of the water's journey from the rainbow serpent's creation to the present day. "These markings are like a map," Nara explained, tracing the shapes with her finger. "They remind us where the water flows and how the ancestors watched over it. By understanding these signs, we learn how to live in harmony with the land." Jarran traced the carvings thoughtfully, feeling the rough stone beneath his fingertips. He understood that this knowledge was a precious gift, one that his people had protected for centuries. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, warming the earth, Nara led Jarran back to the water holes for one last moment of quiet reflection. They sat side by side, listening to the gentle ripple of the water and the distant call of birds. Jarran breathed deeply, feeling the peacefulness of the place settle into his bones. The worries of the day seemed to melt away, replaced by a steady calm that wrapped around him like a soft blanket. In that moment he understood the true power of the water holes, not just as sources of life but as places where the spirit could rest, where the stories of the past and the hopes for the future flowed together like the water itself. As they made their way back to the village, the shadows grew long and the sky turned a soft shade of lavender. Jarran glanced back once more at the shimmering pools, their surface still and full of promise. That night, as the stars sparkled overhead, Jarran lay beneath the wide sky, the gentle sounds of the bush surrounding him. He thought of the water holes and the sacred stories they held, feeling the steady rhythm of the land inside his heart. His breath slowed and deepened, and his mind grew quiet, carried away on the peaceful song of the Dreamtime. The dawn stretched slowly over the ancient Australian bush, the sky painted with soft hues of amber and rose. A delicate breeze whispered through the tall grasses, carrying the earthy scent of smoke and dry leaves. The world seemed to breathe gently as if waking from a long, peaceful sleep. Jarran awoke to the faint crackle of fire, a sound that brought warmth not only to his body but also to his spirit. From a distance came the comforting glow of flames dancing in the early morning light. Today Nara would teach him about the sacred fire, a force as old as the land itself. He rose quietly and followed the familiar path to the heart of the village, where the firekeepers gathered. The elders were tending the fire, their faces glowing in its light, eyes reflecting stories etched deep into their souls. Nara greeted the elders with respectful words, and Jarran felt the sacredness of this moment, the passing of knowledge, the care for an ancient power that sustained their people. "Fire," Nara said, her voice steady and soft, "is a gift from the Dreamtime ancestors. It is both a protector and a creator. It clears the land, renews the earth, and guards us from danger. but it must be respected, for it holds great power. Jarran knelt beside the fire pit, feeling the warmth seep through the cool morning air. The flames flickered and leapt, casting shadows that danced among the gathered trees. Nara continued, "For thousands of years, our people have practiced fire stewardship. We call it fire stick farming. With careful, controlled burns, we clear dry brush and encourage new growth. This keeps the land healthy and ensures the animals have food and shelter." Jarran listened closely, watching the elders gently coax sparks from dry wood, arranging twigs with care. The fire was alive, crackling softly, bright and golden, a living thread connecting past and present. In the Dreamtime, Nara said, "The ancestors taught us how to live with fire. They showed us that fire is not just destruction but transformation. It brings life by clearing space for new plants, and it renews the earth's spirit." Jarran thought of the scorched plains he had seen after wildfires in later seasons, but Nara's words helped him see a deeper truth, that fire was part of a cycle, a rhythm much like the kangaroo's hop or the ripple of the waterholes. As the sun rose higher, the village elders began their work, moving through the bush to light small, controlled fires. Jarran followed with Nara, careful to stay close as the smoke curled around them, warm and fragrant. The fires crackled and spread slowly, cleaning the undergrowth and releasing rich nutrients into the soil. The air filled with the scent of earth and smoke, a smell that reminded Jarran of home and safety. Nara stopped and looked at him with a soft smile. "One day, Jarran," she said, "you will become a fire keeper. You will learn to read the land, to understand when and where the fire should be set. It is a great responsibility but also a great honor." Jarran felt a surge of pride and wonder. The thought of being entrusted with such an important task made his heart beat steady and strong, like the kangaroo's thump or the steady flow of the waterholes. As they returned to the village, the smoke lingering in the air like a gentle veil, Jarran thought about the fire's many faces, its warmth, its light, its power to both destroy and renew. That night, as he lay beneath the vast, starlit sky, Jarran's thoughts drifted to the flickering flames. He imagined the ancestors who first tamed fire, their faces glowing in the firelight as they sang the songs that had been passed down through time. His breathing slowed, deep and even, as the gentle crackle of the fire echoed softly in his mind. The steady rhythm of the flames lulled him toward sleep, carrying him into dreams where fire and earth danced together in a timeless embrace. As dawn unfolded across the endless Australian plains, a soft glow spread over the landscape. The air was crisp and cool, filled with the delicate scents of wildflowers and earth warmed by the rising sun. In the distance, the gentle hum of cicadas began to rise, their rhythmic song weaving through the trees like a natural lullaby. Jarran stood atop a low hill, gazing out at the vast expanse before him. The land stretched endlessly, rolling hills, winding rivers, ancient rock formations, and distant mountain ranges fading into the morning haze. The earth seemed alive, humming with energy and stories waiting to be discovered. Today, Nara had promised to share with him one of the most sacred gifts of their people, the song lines. "Come," she said softly, taking his hand. "Today you will learn how the ancestors painted the land with song and story." They began their walk down the hill, following a narrow path lined with flowering shrubs and tall grasses. Nara's voice was calm and steady as she spoke. "Song lines are the paths the ancestors traveled during the Dreamtime. As they moved across the land, they sang the stories of creation, songs that shaped the earth, the rivers, the mountains, and all living things. Jarran listened intently, picturing the great ancestral beings moving through the ancient landscape, their voices carrying the power to create and transform. These songs are maps, Nara continued, guiding us through the land and connecting us to our history and identity. Each song line tells a story, of a river's journey, a mountain's rise, or the flight of a bird. Jarran's eyes widened with wonder. He had never imagined the land itself could be a song, a living story unfolding beneath his feet. As they walked, Nara began to sing softly, her voice blending with the sounds of the bush, the rustling leaves, the chirping birds, the gentle breeze. The melody was simple and haunting, carrying the weight of countless generations. Jarran felt the music settle deep within him, like a thread weaving through his heart and soul. By learning the song lines, Nara explained, we learn to read the land with our hearts, to remember where we come from and to carry the stories forward. They paused beside an ancient rock formation, its surface etched with weathered carvings, symbols and patterns that echoed the melodies Nara sang. These markings, she said, are a part of the song lines. They help us remember the stories when the songs are too soft to hear. Jarran traced the carvings with gentle fingers, feeling the cool stone beneath his touch. Each groove told a tale of creation, of journey, of belonging. The sun climbed higher as they continued their walk, following the invisible paths of the song lines. Along the way, Nara pointed out plants used for medicine, water sources hidden in the earth, and landmarks that held special meaning. The land speaks to us in many ways, she said. Through song, through stories, through the plants and animals. We must listen carefully and walk with respect. Jarran felt a deep sense of peace as he moved through the landscape, each step guided by the songs of the ancestors. The vastness of the land no longer seemed empty or lonely, it was alive with meaning and connection. As afternoon shadows lengthened, they reached a quiet waterhole nestled among the trees. The surface reflected the sky like a mirror, calm and still. Nara sat beside the water and invited Jarran to join her. They sat in silence, letting the sounds of the bush wash over them. The gentle ripple of water, the distant call of a kookaburra, the soft rustle of leaves. In that stillness, Jarran felt the song lines inside him, a living connection to the land, the ancestors, and the future. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky with warm hues of orange and pink, Nara spoke once more. Remember, Jarran, the song lines are not just stories of the past. They are guides for today and tomorrow. By walking the song lines with respect, we keep our culture alive and strong. That night, beneath a blanket of stars, Jarran lay quietly, the melodies of the song lines echoing in his mind. His breath grew slow and even, carried gently by the rhythm of the land's ancient song. With a heart full of stories and a soul touched by the Dreamtime, Jarran drifted into a deep, peaceful sleep, cradled by the timeless song lines that wove through the earth in his dreams. The early morning light filtered softly through the canopy of eucalyptus trees, casting long, dappled shadows on the red earth beneath. A gentle breeze stirred the leaves, carrying with it the fresh, crisp scent of the bush after a light overnight rain. The world was quiet and still, the perfect moment to visit a place of great power and mystery. Jarran woke with a feeling of anticipation. Today, Nara would take him to see the sacred stones, ancient monoliths scattered across the land, silent witnesses to countless generations and deep stories of the Dreamtime. They walked together through the bush, their footsteps muffled by the soft earth. As they approached the stones, Jarran's eyes widened in awe. Towering rocks stood tall and proud, weathered by time but resolute, each one etched with lines and patterns, telling stories older than memory. Nara's voice was calm and reverent. "These stones are the bones of the earth," she explained. "They are the memory keepers, holding the stories of the ancestors and the creation of the world." Jarran reached out to touch the rough surface of one of the stones. It was cool to the touch, solid and ancient. He could almost feel the weight of time resting in its grooves. "Long ago," Nara continued, "the ancestors walked this land, shaping it with their hands and their spirits. The stones were placed here to mark sacred places, places of ceremony, of learning, and of connection." She gestured toward a circle of stones arranged carefully on the ground. "This is a ceremonial site where our people gathered to honor the Dreamtime stories. Here, songs were sung, dances performed, and knowledge shared." Jarran imagined the flicker of firelight illuminating faces filled with respect and wonder, the sound of chanting rising like a wave through the night air. He felt a deep reverence for those who had come before, who had cared for these stones and the stories they held. Nara pointed to intricate carvings on one of the stones, swirling patterns and shapes that seemed to move beneath the fading light. "These carvings are more than art. They are a language, a way to pass knowledge through time." As they explored the site, Jarran noticed how the stones seemed to fit perfectly within the landscape. Some aligned with the rising sun, casting long shadows that pointed to distant landmarks. Others marked the changing of seasons, helping the people understand when to plant, harvest, or travel. Nara smiled gently. The ancestors knew the rhythms of the earth. They used the stones as guides, living in harmony with the natural world. Jarran felt a quiet awe wash over him. Here was a connection not just to the past but to the ongoing story of life, a story told in stone, song, and spirit. They sat together among the stones as the sun climbed higher, warming the earth and casting a golden glow over the landscape. "Every stone," Nara said softly, "reminds us that we are part of something greater. The land, the ancestors, and our people, all connected in a circle that never ends." Jarran looked up at the vast blue sky, feeling the gentle warmth on his face. In this place of ancient wisdom, he felt a stillness settle deep within him, a calm that reached beyond words. As the day stretched on, they spoke quietly of the lessons the stones taught, about respect, patience, and the importance of remembering where we come from. When the time came to leave, Jarran took one last look at the sacred stones, their silent strength etched forever into his heart. That night, as he lay beneath the stars, the image of the stones and their stories danced gently in his mind. His breath slowed and deepened, carried away by the quiet power of the land's enduring memory. Wrapped in the calm of the night, Jarran drifted into a peaceful sleep, cradled by the timeless wisdom of the sacred stones. The first light of morning crept softly across the sky, painting it with gentle streaks of pink and gold. The air was cool and fresh, carrying the delicate scent of damp earth and blossoming wildflowers. Near a quiet billabong nestled among tall reeds and gum trees, Jarran and Nara prepared for a new journey, one that would lead them to the heart of an ancient story, whispered by the water itself. "Today," Nara said softly, "we will follow the path of the water dreaming, a story as old as the rivers and rain." Jarran felt a quiet excitement as they set out along the winding creek. The water shimmered like glass, reflecting the soft morning light. Dragonflies flitted above the surface, their iridescent wings catching the sun like tiny jewels. Nara began to tell the story. "Long ago, before the world was as we know it, The ancestors shaped the rivers and lakes with their journeys. They sang the waters into being, creating pathways that would nourish the land and all living creatures. As they walked, Jarran noticed the subtle changes in the landscape: patches of lush green where the water ran deepest, pools that invited birds and animals to drink, and smooth stones worn by the gentle flow. The water dreaming, Nara continued, teaches us the importance of water as the source of life. It is a living spirit, connected to the earth and the sky, the plants and the animals. Jarran knelt by the water's edge, dipping his fingers into the cool, clear stream. The water slipped through his fingers like liquid silver, carrying with it a sense of calm and renewal. Nara smiled and pointed toward a group of water lilies floating peacefully on the surface. These plants are part of the story too, symbols of purity and resilience. They remind us that even in stillness, life is moving and growing. They followed the creek further, passing beneath towering gum trees whose roots reached deep into the earth. The sound of water trickling over smooth stones was a gentle, soothing melody, a song of the land itself. Along the way, Nara showed Jarran how to read the signs of the water, where it flowed strongest, where it gathered in hidden pools, and where the fish liked to swim. She explained how their people had learned to live with the rhythms of the water, respecting its power and using it wisely. As the sun climbed higher, they reached a wide lagoon surrounded by reeds and wildflowers. The water here was calm and still, reflecting the blue sky like a mirror. Jarran sat quietly, watching a family of ducks glide gracefully across the surface. The peace of the place filled him with a deep sense of connection, to the land, to the water, and to the stories carried by both. Nara's voice was soft as she spoke again. Water is life. It reminds us to be patient, to flow with change, and to nurture what is fragile. The water dreaming teaches us to care for our world, so it will care for us in return. As afternoon shadows stretched long, they began their walk back to the village, the gentle sound of the creek following them like a lullaby. That evening, under the vast, star-filled sky, Jarran lay quietly, the gentle rush of water still echoing in his mind. His breath grew slow and even, carried by the calm spirit of the water dreaming. Wrapped in the soft embrace of night, Jarran drifted into a deep, peaceful sleep, cradled by the timeless flow of water and story. The evening sky was a soft canvas of purples and blues, fading gently into the quiet darkness of night. A gentle breeze rustled through the eucalyptus leaves, carrying the faint, sweet scent of native blossoms. The world seemed to hold its breath in the calm stillness before night fully settled. Jarran sat by the glowing embers of the campfire, its soft light flickering on the faces of the elders gathered around. Tonight was special, a time to share the greatest story of all, the story of the rainbow serpent, the powerful creator and protector of the land. Nara's voice was steady and warm as she began. Long ago, before the rivers flowed and the mountains rose, there was only the endless Dreamtime. From this eternal space came the rainbow serpent, a mighty being whose body stretched across the earth, carving valleys, shaping hills, and bringing life wherever it went. Jarran listened closely, the firelight reflecting in his wide eyes. The rainbow serpent is the guardian of water and life, Nara continued. She moves through the land, her shimmering scales like colors painted by the dawn. Wherever she travels, she creates water holes and rivers, giving breath to the earth and all its creatures. The elders nodded quietly, their faces lit by the fire's glow, as if remembering the presence of the serpent itself. In some places the rainbow serpent sleeps beneath the earth, resting in the depths of sacred waterholes. When she awakens, her movement brings the rains, nourishing the land and renewing all life. Jarran imagined the great serpent, powerful yet gentle, weaving her way across the country, a living thread connecting sky, land, and water. Her story teaches us to respect the balance of nature, Nara said softly. She reminds us that the earth is alive and that we must care for it just as it cares for us. As the fire crackled softly, Jarran felt a deep peace settle within him, as if the serpent's presence wrapped around the land like a protective embrace. Nara continued, "The rainbow serpent is also a symbol of creation and transformation. She shows us that change is part of life, that even when the land seems still beneath the surface, new life is forming and growing." Jarran thought about the stories he had learned on this journey, of fire that renews, songs that map the land, stones that hold memory, and water that flows with life. All were threads woven into the serpent's great story. The night deepened, and the stars above twinkled like scattered gems. The elders sang softly, their voices rising and falling in a gentle melody that seemed to echo the rainbow serpent's movement across the land. Jarran closed his eyes, letting the music carry him, feeling connected to the ancient rhythms of the earth and sky. In his dreams, he saw the serpent winding through the landscape, her scales shining with every color of the rainbow, her breath bringing gentle rains and life-giving waters. The land blossomed wherever she passed, and all creatures flourished beneath her watchful gaze. When morning came, soft and golden, Jarran awoke with a heart full of gratitude. The stories of the Dreamtime had become a part of him, guiding his spirit and connecting him to the land he loved. He understood now that the Dreamtime was not just a distant past, but a living presence, flowing through every river, whispering in every breeze, and shining in every star. And with that understanding came a deep calm, a steady light that would carry him through the days and nights to come. As the sun rose higher, painting the sky with brilliant colors, Jarran smiled, ready to walk forward with the strength of the rainbow serpent within him. As our journey comes to a close, carry with you the calm of the ancient song lines, the wisdom of the sacred stones, and the gentle flow of the water dreaming. Remember the rainbow serpent's quiet strength within you, a steady light that will guide you through dark and still moments. Now allow your breath to slow, your muscles to soften, and your mind to rest. Sleep well, dear listener. The stories of the Dreamtime will be with you through the night, cradling you in their timeless embrace. Until we meet again, may peace and gentle dreams be yours.